Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Slippery Jack Reviews It, the show where I talk about a variety of different types of music. And today I'm going to be talking about the debut album by Vesna Vesna, Peremeny Настроения. Vesna Vesna is Russian for Spring Spring, is a Russian post-punk and dream pop band that I have been into for a little while now. This is still a relatively new band. They have only released 2 albums, and I am reviewing this one, so I will be able to review both albums. They have just dropped a new one, and I'll be getting to that really soon. So this is not a very popular group. I'm wondering how many people are actually going to watch this video, but oh well, I'm doing what I want. So anyways, I've also heard this band called a Sovietwave group. Sovietwave is a genre that emerged from synthwave that is all about nostalgia for the Soviet Union. It's or nostalgia for a future that never happened. It's it's all coming from previously Soviet states, and it's been on the rise for a couple years now, and I don't know, I'm wondering if it's going to get to the point where it blows up like synthwave did. But the cool thing though about Sovietwave is, like synthwave, you don't have to be like a certain nationality, you don't have to speak Russian, you don't have to be Russian, nor do you have to be Soviet. You will still feel the nostalgia of this music. It's typically got slow paces, and it's very dreamy, but very spacey too. But Vesna Vesna is not what I don't really consider them a Soviet wave group. And that's because they sound a lot more earthly and organic than Soviet wave groups do. But the nostalgia and the dreaminess is still there. It's nostalgic in the sense as it brings back memories from your childhood, but it doesn't have the same kind of nostalgia you would get from listening, for example, to Miyak or Artek Electronica. So I consider them more of a post-punk band than a Soviet wave band. There are also lots of new age elements that they are using on here. There are times where the guitars will sound reminiscent of manual gushing. When you listen to the sound for the first time, it feels like there really isn't that much to it. But as you keep listening to it, there is a lot more depth than what it appears. It's mainly a guitar-driven album, but it's got lots of synths throughout, kind of usually in the background for atmospheric effect. And I am not a very good Russian speaker. I know a little bit, but in order to find this kind of music, you have to learn some Russian. I taught myself some Russian, but I can't understand every single word they are saying. But I know enough to type it and know how to pronounce these words. But yeah, I'll try my best to pronounce these titles, and yeah, feel free to laugh at me if I get them wrong. So the album starts with nravishia. Which shows you exactly what you're getting into. It's bright, it's uplifting, with Alex Kuptsov's dreamy guitar and Tatiana Antashina's soaring vocals. It's one of those songs that just makes you feel relaxed and makes you happy. Morie Komet is less atmospheric and more poppy, but no less uplifting. It's got a really nice bass line, and it's more upbeat. Ellion, it translates to alien, and I think you also say alien in Russian. I don't know, but this one really has those manual gushing guitars going, and Tatiana's vocals have these ethereal effects and a slight echo, and it just does something for this track. It makes it sound extremely dreamy. And the atmosphere is so vast and it's otherworldly. It's a brilliant track. Igrai has the synthesizer intro. The sound's almost gothic. The rest of it doesn't sound like goth. It's still very much post-punk. But it does not abandon that brooding darkness. Despite being a very different mood, the guitar effects help make this sound a lot like the rest of the album. But, I should expect, that kind of mood change since... I need to keep looking at the title. I can't... Peremeni Настроение translates to mood changes, so I should expect that. So, yeah. You still got those dreamy effects. You've got the soaring vocals. And there's lots of stuff going on in the background that I didn't notice until recently. And usually, Igrai would fall into the background, but after recently, this has now become one of my favorites. It's great. Каждый мой сон. Каждый мой сон is easily my favorite track. It's not as dark as Igrai, however there is a lot of melancholy in this track, lyrics being about grief after the death of a loved one. Tatiana's vocals sound less clean, more raw. Well, they're still very clean, of course, but they've also got more rawness, and they're not I hope you know what I mean. And her vocals are just the center of this track. Her vocals are what immediately draw your attention, and I wasn't really paying attention to all of the stuff that's happening in the background. And just that instrumental break, that first instrumental break with the just really makes my hair stand up. It's just a brilliant track. But then comes my biggest gripe with this album, and that is that because Каждый мой сон is such a high, there is nowhere to go but down. Spasenai is unfortunately one of the weaker tracks. However, it's still fantastic. The mood change, of course, once again, is it's a much happier track, and we're starting to see them bring in some shoegaze elements. It's got those guitars that just do not hold back, and of course it's still atmospheric. It's still beautiful, and if you play it by itself, I think it sounds a lot better, and it makes for a very addicting and engaging listen. Бойся, себя is much more emotional. The synths on this one are much more noticeable than on the previous tracks because they've got them turned up a little louder, so you're hearing the synth over the guitar at times. But the guitars still add a lot of texture, and there is no shortage of melody on this track. And once again, Tatiana's beautiful voice takes the lead. This one is perhaps has the most memorable drum beat, the boom, dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, something like that. It's such a nice track. I wish it would stick around longer. The title track, Перемены Настроение sounds like an upbeat version of Stars of the Lid's Mulholland. I wasn't too fond of this track for a while because being a fan of Mulholland, but after enough listens, it sounds less like a crappy version of Stars of the Lid and more like its own. I think it's a great track. Definitely recommend checking it out, and it's just as good as the other ones. And like near the end, like when all those psychedelic effects start happening, I notice Tatiana's voice starts going like kind of almost in out of tune, if that's what you call it. And it sounds like it almost sounds like she's singing a song that's supposed to be more unsettling, and it makes it just sound really weird, like that contrast. You're like, it sounds like a really happy song, but then she doesn't sound like the happiest at the end, so, and not knowing what she's singing, I have not checked the lyrics on this one yet, but yeah, it's really interesting. And the album ends with Storm. This is a this one sounds very much like Manuel Gutsching or Ashra. It's very peaceful and deep, and just that atmosphere, almost similar to Alien, but perhaps even bigger than Alien was. And it's just, I don't really have much to say about it, but it's such an amazing track, and it's a perfect closer. And overall, there's a lot to love about Перемены Настроение. It is a beautiful album, and I wish I discovered it sooner. I've been listening to Vesna Vesna for a couple of months now, and if I had known about this album during 2019, my list might have looked very different. For those of you who love new age music, post-punk, or even psychedelic rock, this needs to be on your ears now. Or if you're just looking for some nice music for quarantine, then this would also be a really nice listen. So yeah, I'm overall feeling an 87 out of 100. And yeah, just to clear it up, like just in case like a lot of you at the beginning thought Becca, like I remember seeing their name and thinking Becca or Betcha. I was like, I know it doesn't say that, but that's what I want to say being an English speaker. No, it's Vesna Vesna with a V. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe for more entertainment, and leave me some suggestions for what I should review next. That's all for today, and I'll see you later. Bye.